Today we'll be discussing the digestive physiology of the cute and cuddly koalas. Physiology is the study of the functions and mechanisms that allow for organisms to function. Today we'll be focusing on the koala's unique digestive functions. Koalas have other unique adaptations that allow them to sustain living. They have thick fur that act as a coolant when temperatures increase, and act as a waterproof raincoat during rainy seasons. And this is one of the reasons it makes them admirable to hunters. Fun fact, there has actually been a ban placed on koalas for hunters not to hunt them. Their noses have special hairs that allow them to select their foods to their preference. They also have interesting paws. Their front paws with two opposable-like thumbs and tough pads and sharp claws allow them to grasp the tree and collect leaves easily. These cuddly bear-like animals are actually marsupials that originate from eastern and southeastern Australia. Fun fact, koalas sleep for approximately 20 hours a day, and their food source is strictly eucalyptic leaves. An analysis of eucalyptic leaves stated that it contains high fibers, low proteins, and certain degrees of the compound cyanide. Eucalyptic leaves are highly toxic to the majority of animals, but not to koalas. Cyanide compounds are known as one of the most lethal poisons, and surprisingly, the koalas consume them on a daily basis. This explains why 20 hours of sleeping takes place in order to slowly and properly digest the toxins found in their food. Their digestive system starts with the esophagus, which leads the bolus, which is also known as food, to the stomach through muscle contractions called peristalsis. 2. The stomach, where the food is digested by the release of chemicals such as hydrochloric acid. 3. The small intestine. A koala's intestines are much longer than most animals, which increases the surface area for absorption, an adaptation that enhances processing of fibrous and protein-poor nutrient that is eucalyptic leaves. The small intestine then splits into two sections, 4. The proximal colon, and 5. The caecum. The proximal colon allows for reabsorption of water and additional nutrients, while the koala's caecum functions as a fermentation chamber where symbiotic bacteria convert the leaves into more nutritious diets. 6. The distal colon allows for further water absorption. And finally, the rectum and anus, which act as a method for waste excretion.
The key organ that helps digest eucalyptus leaves is the cecum. Koala's cecum is very significant as it is very long. It is actually around 200 centimeters long. There are millions of bacteria that help break down the leaf fibers to make the absorption process easier. These bacteria are present in the cecum, however, only 25% of the fibers are absorbed. These eucalyptus leaves provide koalas with the amount of water needed. Therefore, koalas very rarely need to drink water. This is a water conservation strategy. An example of a time they would need to drink water would be during droughts because the water content of the leaves are reduced. The digestive system of the koala has a key role of detoxifying the poisonous substance of eucalyptus leaves. These toxins act as a protection barrier for insects that eat leaves. Eucalyptus leaves grown in good soils have less toxins than leaves grown in poor soils. Koalas only eat specific kinds of eucalyptus leaves for this reason. Koalas are one of the few marsupials who are hindgut fermenters. Koalas also have an extremely large hindgut apart from having an extremely long cecum. The hindgut will get rid of microbial cells in the stomach in the feces. The disadvantage of hindgut fermentation is that the toxins in the leaves are not well detoxified as they would be in foregut fermentation. The fermentation in the hindgut is performed in the cecum and in the colon. Only beneficial solutes are kept and the rest is expelled. Younger koalas are not able to perform selective retention of finer fibers as much as older koalas. This selective retention occurs in the folds of cecum. These folds increase the surface area, which help provide greater absorption of the materials. Longer retention rates are very common among herbivores, but in koalas, only part of their diet goes through long retention, while the rest is passed rapidly. The solutes that remain go through retention for around 200 hours. This makes the koala one of the mammals with longest retention times. It's important to note that the role of obtaining energy by the hindgut is not yet fully understood. Only a small amount of energy is derived through the hindgut fermentation process. Larger solutes pass rapidly because they take longer to digest and flood the hindgut. This can reduce the efficiency of digestion. Therefore, larger solutes pass quicker. Selective retention also allows koalas to survive on a low protein diet. There are a few other digestive adaptations of the koala. The microflora of the epithelium of the cecum help maximize the absorption of fermentation byproducts. There is also a cardiogastric gland that increases surface area by providing additional digestive cells. The function of this gland is described as mysterious as it is not quite well understood yet.